My name is Bruce Alpern, and I will be your host for today's presentation. Today, we're excited to continue our series of introducing best practices and emerging technologies that support return to work and broader facilities management. Our topic today is entitled Indoor Air Quality in Schools, Practical Solutions for Tomorrow's Problems.
So when we talk about air changes per hour, that is how many times do we fully move the air out of the space and replace it with clean air. What they've seen through studies is that 5 air changes per hour can reduce the transmission of COVID-19 by 50%. So when we look at what those recommendations are that are coming now through this federal guidance, it's a layered approach.
You've heard about the air change per hour. The study said that there was a 50% reduction in infections that had 5 air changes per hour. So that really is the key metric. And using a layered approach, we can get clean air through filtration, we can get it through ventilation, we can get it through air disinfection. And the CDC has provided guidance that says we should have 6 or more air changes per hour. And it's very common in classrooms to have just 1 or 2, and that makes for a risky environment. So trying to achieve the 6 or more is very challenging at times using existing HVAC systems, as you heard from Dave. But when we layer in air disinfection, we can go way beyond that in a very cost-effective way.
One of the biggest hurdles that we were facing was air quality. And my whole team was dealing with the idea that people were anxious. They didn't know. They were scared. And so we needed something that was going to reassure them as well. And, we had a lot of these in kindergarten classrooms. And so those little guys, you can't hear them anyway. They got a mask on and you got the HEPA filter in the corner. It wasn't working. And so as I was walking around, I saw these expensive HEPA filters unplugged in the corner. And I wasn't mad. I was like, yeah, I get it because I've seen them and I've heard them. And our job is to teach first. And we have that layer of safety and protection that we have to maintain. It wasn't cutting it.
UV is an invisible light, and the way that it's installed in this technology is it's above the occupied space. So we're showing here a 7-foot level, and what it does is it creates a disinfection zone at that level, and any of the exhaled pathogens that come into that space get neutralized, so they're no longer infectious. And can't then be transmitted to other people.
So there's really robust science behind how it works and how effective it is. Obviously, things are constantly changing and masks are becoming less common. While we've got a lot of people vaccinated, not everybody is, and we've got to deal with potential variants. So we really need to layer on another approach to make our indoor spaces as safe as possible.
So as we started to look at our upper room GUV and the UVQ units, you can see here, they don't take up much space. They don't make any noise. So I want to think back to some of those staff members that were like, hey, we're cranking COVID through the ducts and the ventilation. This also provides comfort, right? There's this soft blue glow that something's happening up in the air and it's killing all the COVID. And as we've been able to explore the science and explain the science a little bit better, that has really gone a long way with staff. So for Three Rivers School District, our journey, you can see that I have to protect our aging staff because I care about these people. I care about these teachers. I've been here in Three Rivers since 1997, and I know these people and they're my friends and I care about them, so I want them to be safe. We talked through it. I feel better about what we're actually doing and that it's creating a difference. And as we know more, we talk more about it, and our staff and community feels better about what we're doing, and they can see it, right? They can see the units on the wall, the blue light coming out, and they know that we're taking steps to provide a safe environment for them. COVID hasn't gone away. And so for us, for the future, we're creating safer spaces that are going to increase attendance, increase safety, protect our staff, and that's important to me.
So if you deploy 1 unit in a classroom, which is about 1,000 square feet or less, we'll deliver 8 or more air changes per hour. So quite a huge improvement. And again, thinking about the reduction of 50%, when you have 5 air changes per hour, if you're in a classroom that has just 1 or 2, we can add 8 to that. So you can get a huge level of protection from 1 unit in a classroom. And it's very easy to install, and it's really cost effective to maintain. clearly air disinfection using upper room GUV is one of the most powerful tools we have at our disposal. If you were to boil that down to what am I paying per air change per hour, you can just see how dramatic that is. And of course, a layered approach is what we want to do, and we want to optimize that. We want to get what we can out of the filtration. We want to get what we can out of the ventilation. But when we layer in the upper room GUV air disinfection, we can see that one air change per hour in a classroom in a year costs just $2.41 from an energy standpoint. And that's just a fraction of what these other methods cost. Again, they're all valuable, they're all important. And we want to start with filtration and ventilation to optimize that, but we can push ourselves over the top quite effectively using air disinfection. Operationally, it's backed by science, again, by CDC, ASHRAE, Harvard, and the White House most recently. So this is a proven technology that works, highly effective. In terms of a classroom with 1 or 2 air changes per hour, if you add a portable air purifier or you increase your outdoor air, you might pick up 1 or 2 air changes per hour. You're still short of the 5. If you add 1 UVQ unit in the classroom, you pick up 8 or more. So you can see you can take it to much higher levels of safety. We can help you reduce your utility costs and carbon emissions. Of course, if you try to drive as much outside air into your spaces as you can for safety, it's the right thing to do for a safety standpoint, but we can actually deliver a higher level of safety more energy efficiently using air disinfection than we can through ventilation. And quite often you're limited into what you can even do with the ventilation system.
This is a solution for a broader scope. And we went to all of our eating spaces, so our cafeterias and our common spaces in our high schools. And now my goal is to deploy these everywhere. So all of our learning spaces, so our classrooms, common spaces, and staff rooms where staff would congregate and eat and those kind of things, libraries. And this is standard with all new construction for us. Right. So every opportunity that I've had to talk about what the technology actually does, what upper room GUV is, it's really, really well received. And so, there's a lot of concern. We have some people that have pulled out of school because the masks are gone, and they're concerned about that. And so we're trying to create these strategies where we're constantly communicating our safety and reopening strategies. And this is definitely integral and part of that. And as we were able to do that, the reception has been great.
And that will conclude our webinar. I want to thank everyone for attending. And as I said, you should receive a link in the next day or two with the recording to this exact webinar. Thank you very much.